I want to make a few quick remarks about Tucker Carlson. And I used to like Tucker Carlson. I thought he was addressing a lot of issues that needed to be addressed. I really appreciate what he did on January 6th, talking about economic issues, immigration issues, attack on the family, attack on men. I mean, these are issues that we need to address, and a lot of people are afraid to address them. But he was addressing these issues and giving voice to a lot of voiceless and addressing concerns that need to be spoken. So I liked what Tucker Carlson was doing, what he was saying, but things have changed. Things have changed. And I think conservatives need to totally disassociate themselves from Tucker Carlson for several reasons. Now, obviously, I think there's no doubt about the man being anti-Semitic. He obsesses about Israel. I think you probably have 72 hours plus more if you look back in the past year of anti-Israeli content. He's obsessed with Israel. And he argues that if you're moderate on Israel, if you're indifferent about Israel, or if you're an Israeli supporter, that means you're not American. First, you've sold out. And like I said, he obsesses about Israel. And Dinesh D'Souza was talking about this. It's like if you're pro-Israel in any way, Tucker Carlson would say that you're anti-American. And these bizarre theories about Israel getting us involved in wars. What wars? Now, Saudi Arabia has gotten us involved in a lot of wars. Why did we go into Somalia? Because the Saudi Arabians wanted us to go into Somalia. Why did we go into Bosnia and Kosovo? We weren't pursuing American national interests in any of those wars. We were pursuing, it's like our military is hired out by the Saudi Arabian government as mercenaries to pursue Islamic goals. Like when we went into Somalia at that time, Muslims had killed 3 million Christians in South Sudan. It wasn't even reported on the news. Nobody cared about that. So Somalian warlords were, hoarding food. So we go in there to send American troops to die, have their, fighting for them, for the Somalian people, and they kill our soldiers and drag them, their naked, desecrated bodies to the streets. What are we doing over there? Why are we doing that? Does that have anything to do with Israel? I mean, these are really nonsensical claims. And Dinesh D'Souza was talking about it. It's like, well, Tucker's saying anybody that's moderate or pro-Israel hates America, is anti-American, blah, blah, blah. And Dinesh D'Souza has been doing a podcast for the past 3 or 4 years, and he goes, look at my content. I barely talk about Israel at all. Maybe once a year, if that. Who's talking about Israel every single day? Tucker Carlson. So the question is, why? Why is Tucker Carlson doing it? And the other thing is, like we hear about from Tucker, Gaza, 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 Gaza all the time. And one thing that really concerned me while he was just focusing on Israel and the Palestinian conflict, first what happened is we started seeing killings of hundreds of thousands, tens to hundreds of thousands of Christians in Nigeria. And Tucker Carlson was strangely silent about it. And so that's a big concern. Here we have news, nothing, no coverage from Tucker Carlson. Why? Why? The only explanation that I can think of is that it's true. He is a Judas Iscariot. He's received his 30 pieces of silver to sell out Christ, our faith, and our country to the Qataris and the Saudi Arabians. Because when Muslims are killing Christians, it's crickets from Tucker Carlson. Doesn't say a word about that. And the other issue is, I couldn't believe it. I had to see it to believe it. Tucker Carlson saying that he loves Sharia law. He loves Sharia law. He thinks Sharia law is the greatest thing in the world. You see it on his videos. For those who think that Sharia law is good, go look at Pakistan. What happens to Pakistan's beleaguered Christian community? They kill people for being Christians. Why? They accuse them falsely of blaspheming the Prophet Muhammad. And from the point of view of Sharia law, of course, Christians blaspheme the Prophet Muhammad because Muhammad denied the fatherhood of God. He denied that Jesus died on the cross. He denied the resurrection. And when you affirm what the church believes, you're obviously, as a consequence, you're denying that Muhammad is a prophet and the truth of his prophecies. You cannot have Sharia law. Watch Jim Caviezel's The Stoning of Soraya M. You want to see women get stoned? Men have their hand cut off? The other thing is men hardly ever get stoned. It's just the women. And Tucker Carlson, that's fine with him. Oh, look at these streets in these cities. It's so safe and clean. That's because of Sharia law. He's actually saying that. And then on his program, he's belittling and dismissing the fact that hundreds of thousands of Nigerian Christians, he's scoffing at it, that Christians are being murdered by his friends, his buddies, because I guarantee you, Boko Haram and all these terrorist groups get their money from Saudi Arabia and Qatari petro-dollars. And now Tucker Carlson's taking their money. Sold us out. Sold us out. And think about this. People are like, wow, oh, look at that interview between Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson. Wow, he really showed up Senator Cruz. Man, he mopped the floor with him. And it's like, you know what? That's not going to age well. It's not going to age well. I always felt that. It's like, at the moment, it seems like, wow, he really, just decimated Ted Cruz. And it's like, no. You got to look and see how this plays out on the long run. And here's how it played out. You look at Tucker Carlson, he wants that money. He wants his 30 silver pieces from Saudi Arabia. So he's, they wind him up with their money and they, go. And he's like a rabid dog going after Ted Cruz because Ted Cruz supports Israel. I've seen this. What's going on right now in the media and in, emerging media, I see it. Just looking at YouTube, these Muslims, that they're being financed, like there's this weird thing, a Muslim mom in England, and they have a lot of anti-Israeli content. Cowboy Muslim, Muslim cow, whatever it is. You saw these people are trying to be, influencers or whatever, and they're putting out, like, there's this guy called Sneeko. We got, was it Andrew Tate and others, they put out all this content. And they're obsessed with Israel because the Muslim world's obsessed with Israel, and their masters want them to put this anti-Israeli content up. Israel's not a perfect country. It has its problems, and there are places and ways I've criticized Israel, but I'm not going to give into. You cannot. And here's the worst thing that Tucker Carlson did. First off, we have to totally reject anti-Semitism. And the other thing is, like, you're going to criticize Israel and you're not going to criticize. Tucker Carlson says Hamas is a wonderful organization. It's a patriotic political organization. It's a terrorist organization. It's incredible to hear him saying that. And he claims that a demon attacked him. I think that demon just attacked him and took full possession because this is bizarre. What about, he was all upset that we might prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear power. That's insane. I don't want to see a nuclear exchange in the Middle East or anywhere. Iran becoming a nuclear power could be a threat. They could use the bombs against the United States. They could attack us. I don't want to see people, millions of people incinerated in a nuclear conflagration. And if you don't stop them or prevent them from achieving that technology, millions of people could die. Tucker wants Iran to nuke up. And how could anybody with any... yes, he was a voice for certain concerns in the past. What's he doing now? Sometimes he's talking about religion sometimes. And, Satan makes himself to appear as an angel of light. Oh, I started reading my Bible. I do not believe Tucker Carlson has been born again, has confessed his sins, and accepted Christ in his heart as a Savior to be born again. But the thing is, Satan transforms himself into an angel of light. And there's all these it offends me. There's these Nigerian scammers, that prey off of gullible people, and they use a lot of religious terminology to quote Bible verses, and they're trying to scam you. They're trying to take everything you have to enrich themselves through fraud. And that's what Tucker Carlson is now. He is a fraud and a scammer. And back to Ted Cruz. So Tucker has Ted Cruz, this interview, and it's very hostile interview. So then he brings on a neo-Nazi onto his program, and he's so polite and so, respectful, and puts his arm around his shoulder, smiling. We cannot have, as a conservative Republican, as a Christian, 100% against racism. Jesus died on the cross to save all mankind. Chinese, Arabs, blacks, whites, Indians, the whole world. He came to redeem mankind. It says God so loved the world. God loves everybody. Every human being is precious in the sight of God. And to have someone, I think concerns about demographic change in Europe, in the United States, the impact of immigration, should the citizens have a voice in immigration policy? Does immigration need to be restricted or reformed? I think, they want to use false accusations of racism to silence debate about these important issues. So I understand the need for us to have a voice about the harmful effects of out of control open borders. And I think a lot of Americans see it. We should be able to talk about these things, but the people, they don't want to stop. They don't want secure borders. They don't want to stop the massive influx of immigration. So they make accusations of racism to silence and intimidate people and to frighten people from talking about important issues. And we can't let them do that. Oh, you're racist. And they're going to try, you're going to accuse me of being racist. I'm just going to, and it works. It works. That's why it's worked so far. Now I think people are trying to push back. So, but racism, actual racism, not false accusations of racism, actual racial hatred, like taught by Nick Fuentes. I mean, the guy's Mexican, yet he hates Mexicans. He hates white, everybody except for white people. I mean, he's out and out neo-Nazi. I mean, to have him on his program and to give him a platform, and Tucker says, "Oh, this is free speech. I'm just having a conversation." No, he's not. He's promoting neo-Nazism. Maybe in a year or so, he's going to be back on MSNBC and CNN. I don't think Tucker's really a conservative. I think it's just a way. Maybe he's trying to. I think he's trying to destroy the Republican Party and the MAGA movement from within, because the Democrats are always making these false accusations. Oh, you guys are racist, blah blah. And then he actually platforms an actual neo-Nazi. And I'm not going to have it. We cannot have racial hatred. I'm not going to have anti-Semitism. I'm not going to put up with it. I've seen people just infatuated with Israel too much, that they worship Israel, they worship the Jews. That's a problem that exists with some people. I mean, is it really a problem? So what? It's a free country. Somebody loves Israel that much. A little excessive. I guess at worst it's a little bit annoying. So what? I mean, if somebody's infatuated with Israel, let it be. Right? What's it to you, Tucker? So maybe some people are just too extreme in their support for Israel. Just grant, for sake of argument. But to be totally anti-Semitic as a response and to hate the Jewish people as a race and to push dangerous conspiracy theories that have gotten hundreds of thousands, gotten millions of people killed, absurd, ridiculous, infantile conspiracy theories like the protocols, learned elders of Zion, the international Jews. I mean, dangerous ideas that led to mass murder. And now Tucker's promoting these things, giving a voice to racial hatred, which is antithetical to the essence of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I used to respect him for, like the left, what it's called toxic masculinity. Their masculine virtues. If you look around us, most everything is created, technology is driven by men for the most part. And to attack and degrade, there's masculine virtues, there's masculine vices, but just this unrelenting vilification and demonization of men just for being male from the Democrat Party. And they cram their ridiculous ideas down people's throats all the time, and it's harmful. And it's like, Tucker's addressing this issue. That's great. Push back on this left-wing, anti-human extremism. But that's not where Tucker Carlson is anymore. Now he's platforming neo-Nazis, apologizing and defending genocide of Christians and the Muslim world. He won't say anything against it because he's bought off by the Qataris and the Saudi Arabians. So I think we have a moral obligation to oppose Tucker Carlson at this point. We have to do it. We cannot have. To me, conservatives and Republican Party is about creating opportunities, hope and opportunities for people to succeed. Ideas that empower people, ideas that can unify. I mean, the greatness of America, what it represents, as hope and opportunity, freedom and virtue. I mean, I think, democracy, a Republican form of government, truth and justice, like Superman used to fight for, truth, justice, the American way. It used to be something good and positive, and we should celebrate that. And Tucker Carlson's become a threat to conservatism, and he needs to be shunned. And we have to resist his baleful and negative influence. And people just have to speak up about it. When he brought on Nick Fuentes, not that he just brought him on, but he's all chummy and friendly and laughing it up and having a good time with a man that is a self-professed Nazi. No, we just can't. I think it's, people have been so patient with Tucker putting up with this and, making apologies, apologizing for him and justifying what he's doing. No. Now he's trying to mainstream neo-Nazi and racial hatred. No, we can't. We cannot have it. We have a duty, an obligation to oppose Tucker Carlson. I'm sorry, maybe you should pray for him, but I mean, he needs to bring forth the fruits of repentance. He sold us out to Islam. Like, it's bad enough that he's not giving a voice to Christians who are being persecuted. He has this great platform. As long as his financiers, the Saudi Arabians and Qatari, if they're killing Christians, he's fine with it. He's fine with it. I think, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tucker go on his show and say the Shahada, which is, conversion to Islam. He's going to profess faith to Islam. He's already done it. He's a friend of Islam, and he's an enemy of the cross of Christ. I'm sad that he's gone this direction, because I really enjoyed what he was doing and saying for several years. It's what's happened. And we have to respond in the appropriate manner, which means kicking Tucker out, say he's persona non grata in the conservative movement, the Republican Party, and in MAGA. He's anti-MAGA at this point. He's a threat to everything that we're trying to accomplish in making America great again. American greatness has no room for anti-Semitism and racial hatred, which is what Tucker Carlson has embraced.